Man, Seth Bling, you are the man. Hey heroes, Isaac Zephyr here, back with the fifth and what I'm hoping is going to be final part of the Autobrewer and item storage retrieval device. So we've got our retrieval end here, as we've seen before a couple of times, and I've tried to change signal lengths and whatnot. It's really hard to do with water bottles, so as a result of the water bottle crisis, I'm using droppers, which meant slightly manipulating the new reloading device that I showed off before. So what'll happen is they'll send off, same thing with the detector rail telling the piston that it's coming. It'll load all the water bottles in, and then we've got that it'll be pushed down onto this below rail here, because it has to be just low enough that it doesn't start interfering with this. The follow-up is that I've also got installed the indicators that tell me when these are empty, which they can be rewired to anywhere, and these should be appropriately set into a loop with a station style concept and whatnot. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot to do still on that overall, but I'm dead ending everything because I just kind of want to get all of this system stuff together, and then I think if this is the final segment, it'll be in the download or the description below. If not, then it'll be in the next one, but I will have a download for my test world in the description below. I'll probably... Anyway, so we've got our water bottle segment set up to do that. We've got our filling station, so now we've got to finally work on the big part, which is getting all of this translated into a redstone specific, decide which path it's going to take, big end. And because I did the water bottle one on that end, and that can be rotated to any end, it just needs to make sure that the end results can turn there and drop down there. So you can rotate this any direction. You could probably shrink it a bit. This is still kind of bulky and out there. You could move the pressure or the detector rail closer and whatnot. I did this as I did it. So the last part's going to be working on the big selector panel and everything, which is going to take a while. So I'll come back when I've done segments of that. But for now, I will also explain kind of the other deal, is that I'm dead ending all of these now because, it's a creative world and I don't really have anywhere that I need them to go, but I'm thinking I could hook them all up to loops. I don't know. Once again, it's one of those things. Leaving them dead-ended is almost barren to me. I don't know. It seems weird. Why would I put all the filler things on if, you're not going to use them? So I might hook them all around and show you how they can interact with whatever system you want, and then there's also going to be working on the clock. The clock might wind up as its own episode anyway. So while I work on that, I will leave you be and return when we are done. Probably just the first segment, because, it's going to be a lot to show off. But yeah, see you then. Man, I can just not catch a break with this thing. So here's the problem. For whatever reason, with this setup, when we send the cart through, each of the dispenser or the droppers is firing 3 times, which is shooting water bottles everywhere. I mean, only 3 are actually getting into the cart, which is awesome, because it's exactly how much we need, but we got 2 out of 3 being shot on the floor, and I can't figure out what exactly is wrong with it. I've tried tests to see if it's the dispenser coming out, or the comparator coming out the back, because that's the only other thing I could think of, which is giving it power. And then we got this one here, maybe, but it's not getting any power at all from the hopper so long as there's nothing in it, so I don't know what it is about this setup, but we're getting 3 pulses per shot. Oh, Alright, so I've been looking into the problem, and it seems to be this part of the circuit, or this part of that bit here. None of the rest of this is affecting it, but for some reason the comparator's own output is causing it to triple fire, or double fire in the case of the middle one. I tried to fill it with redstone, because to see if maybe it was a stack thing, because it was too much, because of the massive change that one of these water balls is going to do compared to one little bit of a stack. And yeah, for whatever reason, just that little bit of extra redstone is causing some weird behavior in the dropper, so I can't find if that's recorded or not, so I'm gonna check that out. Alright, we've got a workaround for that little bug, which I guess a lot of people like because it's good for rapid fire dispensing things. I don't know, so it may or may not be fixed, but for now, as long as the redstone signal is 3 away, it's not affecting it, so you just got the inverted torch, which also meant moving the detector rail back one. But it now works fine on this end, because it still has more than enough time to get in there. And it works the same as all my other fills so far, where whoop, it'll shoot down in. I might want to do a test though. Let's just do a quick test. I can't put any water bottles in, so I'll have to take some out. And I'll just pretend 3 for now. Whoop. Ideally, you'd want to be filling this when it's empty, because that's the only time it would tell you, but yep, more than enough time. And voila, they're all back in there. So, reloading system here is done, which means we can now work and focus all of our strength on the selection process, which I'm thinking this is the best thing I'm going to be able to do for now. I don't know. There's going to be a lot of trial and error testing, so I'll be back when that's done. Alright, time to test see if chests are viable before we continue. So, everything's loaded, and have fun. 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's gone under all ingredients. And of those 5, we got 2. Yep. Gonna have to fix that. Alright, test 2. Hopper's under chests, which means we could still have the inventory. And I guess we'd have to do it from when the hopper's empty. I don't know. I'll have to redo the circuit, but we'll see if this works. And of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we have... Come on, baby. Failure. Alright, same test with hopper and chest, except this time with a chest minecart to see if this works better. And go. 2, 3, 4, 5. Any better success? 4. Did I screw up the gunpowder one? No. Why only it's not going? Well, regardless, if it can't get them all, it's a failure, so maybe try again. Maybe it's just because the gunpowder one is really far out. It might be out of the load limit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that time we lost the fermented eye. Alright, so after extensive testing of all the types, it looks like the only viable form is going to be the dropper. And I don't think the dropper works with the chest minecart. Not that I care. I only need 5 things anyway, so we're going to do hopper. And I guess we're just going to rebuild this, but I'll be back with the selection system, I suppose, for how it's going to decide which path it's going to take. So I get to work on just the rails then, because that's the winning design. Man, I notoriously overthought my unloading system. I mean, it was as easy as this. for a simple unloader. You don't need pistons or anything. Just push, it'll unload, and it'll send it off. I was so obsessed with the detector rail, I overlooked something so small. So, the question, change how things are? Because, I mean, I could probably, if I moved the hopper to there, and then just had it, like, no, because then the comparator's in the way, which means it needs to go sideways, which would mean that all of them would need to go that way if the rail is... Yeah, I was having a lot of problems, obviously, with just minecarts starting on their own, so I started doing all this stuff with falling. And I kind of like it. It's an interesting concept, but my applied use is a little useless, it would appear. Granted, the other thing with, well, you could have, you got manual send-off for it. I mean, this one you can't really have an automatic send-off because it would just go back and forth and you'd need to manually just rambling. All in all, I acknowledge that there are easier ways to do this. I like my way, despite how overcomplicated it is. So, but I acknowledge that there are easier ways to do some of my minor systems. I like this one because I like pistons and pushing things and acknowledging the different physics of the game. So, with that in mind, I shall continue to make my stuff, acknowledging that this system is slightly unnecessary. This one, on the other hand, in here, with moving everything through, it works really well. You could probably entirely redo this system an entirely different way by changing all the little bits, but I like mine. So, this is the way I'm doing it. Don't like it? Watch somebody else. Alright, heroes, so as I said, we gotta build this in reverse order, which means we've started from the final two selections of gunpowder and fermented spider eye. And this is the basic, because these ones were once again both a lever option on our GUI. Or no, are on our interface. They're both a lever option, so I've just kind of put the levers up there because I don't want to connect everything quite yet. For this particular setup, the direction that you're in does count for a lot. So while these are up, they are in nothing. While they are down, they are going that way. And that's kind of how it works. If I wanted instead for that to be on this side, I would just have to remove this inversion of the signal. So yes, there's a lot of really direction counts when you're working with rails. Anyway, I'm going to go up to the next selection where we have 3 options. So that means building a little more complicated of a selection circuit. And then obviously the last one where it needs to make even more decisions is going to be harder. So without further ado, I'm going to work on that and then show the wiring. It would figure. We'd have a problem halfway through. What is with this shenanigans? For whatever reason, the ones down there still work, so it's not a matter of an update problem, which means that I could double check the circuit. Oh, come on. And that one's too close, which means this one doesn't work either, and damn it. I guess we're gonna have to find something new anyway. Not fun. Looking at this design, I've got the problem. I guess I could run the whether it's full or not line that way, but but then it's all next to the track, and if all this was on top, then maybe if it was on top, maybe I'll try something out. All right, let's give this a shot. Well, it works. I mean, it doesn't really shrink the design at all. It just kind of removes the bottom railway, because we still need the room for the return line, and we still need the room to shut this off temporarily. I mean, I could try running it forward, I guess, but to run that segment of the circuit forward would probably, and I'd have to make these wider, and the other thing is it's still gonna have to be manual send off. But if I were to make it entirely automatic, then you got too many items and too many mine carts going back and forth. And I'm still working on this here, the 2 selection circuit. I've got it, except for I need to invert this signal, so I think I gotta move it all down by 1 just so I can invert the signal again. Because it can't be inverted from the torch in this case. Otherwise, this line will be powered and it won't make a difference. Because ideally, selecting option A will make it... I need to flip this, but it would make it go this way. And then to select option B, doesn't matter which one option B is. It would then go and have both selected. So it's just a matter of having an OR gate. So if either of them are active, that one is always active. And when either of them are active, dang it, fucking control flying. Oop, wrong one. And if neither of them are active, that one's. So I gotta invert this signal one more time, I think, by lowering this by 1 or by putting it on an edge or something. I'm not sure. Actually, I think I actually need to invert this one, so shouldn't be too hard. But I think because of those shenanigans with the previous design, since I'm gonna now have to manipulate a lot of this to the new one, I'm gonna call this part here, which sadly means this is gonna go one more part. So I got some minor edits to do, obviously to fix all this, and yeah, till I get all that done, this is Isaac Zephyr, signing out. I'll see y'all later, heroes.